All right, yo, 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 yo. Welcome back for another video. One of these days, I'm gonna do better with my timing and uploading and stuff. And I haven't uploaded in about 2-3 days or whatever, but I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna get better. Like I be busy a lot, man. Then I be tired from work and stuff, and it's hard, man. Like if this was my full-time job, I'd be just doing this full-time, but I got a regular full-time job I gotta do every day, and so have to try to find time to do this too. But anyway, we got Adrian Dantley. Somebody requested this to me, told me to check out Adrian Dantley's highlights. I don't think I ever watched any of his highlights at all, so we're just gonna get right into this right now. And yeah, make sure you guys subscribe if you're new. I almost hurt my thumb trying to snap my fingers. Anyway, just get right to the video, man. Make sure you guys subscribe. Let's get it.
Adrian Dantley was one of the greatest, most efficient scorers in NBA history. During his prime between 1980 and 1986, he averaged 30 points per game on 56% from the field, 63% true shooting percentage, and attempted over 10 free throws per game. Although these numbers might look like numbers that a dominant center would average, Dantley did it while being a 6'5", 210-pound small forward.
6'5"?
His bread and butter was scoring in isolation, much like Carmelo Anthony, yet he also used his craftiness to draw fouls at an insane rate, much like James Harden. During his 6-year prime, he was as good at scoring the ball as anybody else the NBA has ever seen. Yet, just like Melo and Harden, Dantley also scored in a way that was, I guess, kinda controversial, and at times a double-edged sword. And defensively, he was probably even worse than those two.
Wow.
How's it going, fellas? My name's Andy, and today we're gonna take a look at Adrian Dantley, the most forgotten and underrated scorer of the 1980s, the original AD. So I gave a brief overview of Dantley's stats in his prime, which are ridiculous. 6-time All-Star, 2-time scoring champion, and led the league in offensive box plus-minus for 5 seasons. He also averaged 24 points per game for his career on insane efficiency, especially for his era. He has a higher career true shooting percentage than even Kevin Durant.
Wow.
But despite all of this, you might be wondering, who in the world is he, and why does nobody talk about him if he was this good? Well, the main reason was that Dantley was known to be a very selfish player and only cared about himself, about his individual stats. Dantley played most of his prime in Utah, and according to his former coach, Frank Layden, he said he doesn't work hard on defense, he's moody and selfish, and he can kill your team.
Wow.
Those are some strong words. By the end of the 1985-86 season, the Jazz were going in a different direction, with the young, up-and-coming Karl Malone as their new franchise superstar. So they traded Dantley to the Detroit Pistons, who was 29 years old and still averaging 30 points per game.
Damn.
In one of the most high-profile trades of the decade, Dantley joined an already great bad boy Pistons team with Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, and Bill Laimbeer. And many people believe that Dantley was the missing piece to help them win the championship. Unfortunately, Dantley was never a great fit on those Pistons teams. His style of play would completely stop the offense, which was the complete opposite of what the Pistons wanted to do. The leader and best player on the team, Isaiah Thomas, favored a more run-and-gun style, faster-paced offense, and it led to some tension within the locker room. According to an article from 1989, some have accused Dantley of playing with a quota system, either getting 15 to 18 shots per game or sulking.
What?
That, at times, led to talk of friction with the Pistons guard Isaiah Thomas, who favored a running game to Dantley's post-up style. Because of this clash in playstyles, the Pistons were not able to win a championship until after they traded away Dantley halfway through the 1988-89 season. And in return, they got Mark Aguirre, although many do believe that the Pistons should have won the 1988 championship and that finals against the Lakers might have been a bit controversial. Anyway, during an interview in 2014, Dantley even called Isaiah a con man. He got along fine with the other Pistons players, but he clashed with Isaiah and claimed that if he was kissing his ass like the rest of the team, then he wouldn't have gotten traded. That's another thing I wanted to mention. During Dantley's prime in Utah, he never led his team to that much playoff success. He lost in the second round a couple of times, and he never even led the Jazz to a 50-win season. Although that's partly because he never had any help either. Regardless, it definitely hurt his legacy because he was never viewed as a winner. Dantley was also somewhat of a loner. He was never a vocal leader even when he was the best player on his team, and according to his former teammates, he rarely ever talked. He was an introvert and always kept things to himself, and for a player of his caliber, that's kinda rare. The NBA's biography page said that he confused and often confounded coaches, players, and fans during a stellar, if highly unusual, NBA career. His motives were often misunderstood and his intentions misread. And according to his mother, she stated that even when Adrian was a child, you couldn't figure him out. You couldn't get him to smile even then.
Wow,
but with all that being said, he was incredibly intelligent and he showed it on the court. He was perhaps the smartest scorer ever. Adrian Dantley had an explosive first step and used a variety of different tricks to bait his opponents to commit fouls, much like James Harden. He was always one step ahead of his defenders and he would always try to outsmart them. For example, sometimes he would purposely let his jumper get blocked, so then for the rest of the game he could bait his opponents into believing that they can block him. Then Dantley would counter that with his pump fake to easily drive to the rim. There were times when he'd also purposely dribble the ball really high, trying to bait his defender to get a reach-in foul. All these tricks, all these mind games helped him get to the free throw line so many times.
It's just like
also earned him the nickname The Teacher. Dantley averaged about 9 free throws per game for his entire career on 82%, and in the 1983-84 season, he averaged a career-high 12 free throw attempts per game. If you look at the NBA records for most free throw attempts in a single game, it's quite shocking. Take a look. Most of the guys on this list are big men, and I'm willing to bet most of them were intentionally hacked because they're bad at free throws.
Yeah,
but then you have Adrian Dantley randomly thrown in twice. So you can assume that most of the fouls that he drew were all legit fouls.
Yeah.
Can you imagine fouling a player so much that he takes 31 free throws? He hit 27 out of 31 free throws in that game too. As of now, he's 9th on the list of all-time free throws made, although LeBron will definitely catch him. On the other hand, Dantley was very similar to Melo as well, because during their primes, they were known for posting up a lot and being ball stoppers. When someone passed the ball to Dantley, there was like a 95% chance he was gonna shoot it. Basically, the only times he would pass the ball is if he got double teamed, but even then, he'd still try to score sometimes. I mean, it's not a bad thing. Dantley was one of the most efficient scorers ever, but being a black hole on offense discourages the rest of the team. When he had the ball, nobody else tried to move or cut to the rim or do anything, because he would either shoot it, drive to the rim, or draw a foul. Additionally, his defense, like I mentioned earlier, was a huge issue. He never cared about trying on defense, not even in Detroit, as the team was always better with him off the floor. Here's a cool piece of trivia. Dantley used to post up and back down his defender for the entire shot clock sometimes, and that was part of the reason the NBA created the 5-second rule. The rule that prohibited a player from backing down a defender for more than 5 seconds, and although Charles Barkley is credited for the rule, Dantley used to do the same thing. He had ridiculous lower body strength, which helped him overpower his defender, especially since most guards and small forwards back then were kinda skinny. And that sums up the video. Adrian Dantley was a ridiculous scorer that never got the credit he deserved, because the way he scored would hurt his team. The game would basically stop every time he had the ball because you knew what he was going to do, but nobody could stop him, not even his own teammates. Anyway, that's all folks. What are your thoughts on Adrian Dantley? Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video, and I'll see you next time.
My thoughts on Adrian Dantley. He was a good player. He was a pretty good player. I ain't gonna say he was a great player, even though he averaged like 30 points at one time. But like I had heard of him, but I never like sat here and watched a highlight video on him. But that dude was selfish, man. Like, that's crazy how he would spend a whole shot clock back down his defender and wouldn't pass the ball unless he was double teaming, and then he'd pass it a whole lot. Even if he was double teamed, he would still try to shoot it. That's crazy. That's crazy. Didn't know he was that good. I knew he was pretty good because he was kind of talked about a lot, but not a whole lot. But I figured he probably was, you know, pretty decent because somebody told me to react to this, to his highlights and stuff. So, yeah, let me guys know what you think about Adrian Dantley, and let me know any kind of other players you want me to react to, teams or whatever like that. If there's anything you guys want me to react to other than like basketball or anything like that, just let me know. I can come up with some more ideas about different videos and stuff. And yeah, I just want to, yeah, I don't want to keep the video too long. Just make sure you guys subscribe if you're new. Hit the like button, and we'll be back for more videos. So I'm out. Peace.